Limits are one of the most important things in calculus. That's why making sure that you understand it is super important. Think about it like this. Limits are going to be the foundational concept to derivatives, integrals, and a lot of many more things. Pretend you're driving along a road, and as you go further and further and further and further down that road, you're going to get somewhere. When it comes to a limit, that's basically what it's asking. The limit of a function is basically asking, as this function approaches this point, what is the value of the function? Let's take a look at an example right now. So now here, we're at an example of a function. F of x is 1 over x. So as I drag out this point, pretend it's that car we talked about earlier, driving along the road. Now we're going to go further and further and further and further down that road, approaching infinity. As we approach that point, take a look at what happens. Where does it look like we're going to? You zoom out even further. And as we keep going down that road, we get closer and closer to 0. You can think about it like this. The limit is basically the value of a function as we approach a specific point. And when I mean approach, is get closer and closer and closer to it. Here we have the function 1 over 12x squared. We can see that the endpoints of this function at -6 and 6 are not defined. So when we want to find the limit of the function as it approaches the point 6 and -6, we can't just plug it into the function and find out. But here graphically, we can look at as we get closer and closer and closer to the point 6, which is right here, we're getting very, very, very close to the value 3. So we can say that our limit of f of x as x approaches 6 is 3. Now let's look on the other side. You zoom out, then we zoom back in. Here we have -6, and here we have our function. As we zoom in, we see that as we get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the point -6, our value also happens to be 3. So in this case, the limit of the value of the function f of x as x approaches -6 is 3.